year 2020, 2020, two notable things happened. Only two. One, some kind of pandemic. I don't know. I'm not familiar. I just trust what scientists say. The other, the dawn of art. I, Chris Hayner, host and mastermind of the Big Kid podcast, now in its second season, teamed up with the all-powerful Matthew Elfring, host of truly one of the greatest podcasts of all time, Video Killed, the podcast star. And when I say greatest, I mean under its new host.
It was also called Podcast Killed the Video Star.
Podcast Killed the Video Star. You're not here yet.
Sorry.
I've done multiple episodes and they were all beautiful, but we came together. We made something special. And that something was a little podcast called Wrestle Buddies, where me and my guest this week got to talk about all the dumbest, best things about the history of professional wrestling that we love. And he's back for his second in terms of taping order, who knows in terms of airing order, episode of Big Kid. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my best friends on this planet, my former podcasting bro, and a dude who honestly I talk to pretty much every day still, Mat Elfring. Matt, way to be a big kid. Hi. One more time.
Well, it's great to see you. You are so pixelated with your camera right now. It looks like
really?
It looks like I'm driving, but it's like foggy on the windows and I can't see what's coming and I'm about to die.
Wow, I wonder what that means. I will say, yeah, so Matt and I are doing a bit of a Wrestle Buddies reunion. I don't know if we're allowed to say Wrestle Buddies because neither of us own it. But we're also using, I'm using a much more upgraded system than the one that CBS / Red Ventures / Fandom had us using. So this is new. What I will tell you, Matt, is it tells me when I log in, the picture may appear pixelated, but don't worry, we are capturing high quality video.
That's good. I need to be seen.
So you're going to look beautiful, baby doll. Because I'll also say this. This is technically the first season 2 episode I'm recording, and this is something I'm going to have to say in front of every season 2 episode. So please, like, subscribe, follow across all the podcast things. Also, do yourself a favor, jump over to YouTube and type in Big Kid Podcast. And what you'll be able to do is actually watch us record this episode because, damn it, season 2 means video. My plan is to record every single episode of the podcast and release the video simultaneously with the pod. So you'll be able to look at it literally anywhere. You won't be able to get away from me, and you'll be able to see how my office evolves over time. Matt, as you can see looking right now, it is still set up for a horror video I filmed for GameSpot this week. You can see with all my cool Saw stuff behind me. This right here, Matt, that is my selfie series. Chris Hayner is a Ghostbuster.
I saw a picture on Instagram of it, and I'm very happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you.
There's been so many awful, awful horror stories about the selfie series action figures because I think they're currently in version 2 or 3. I'm not sure which, but the original version, I think all of us knew what we wanted it to be, and it was not that. But the likenesses are getting better. You're getting more accessories. I gave my guy an awesome tortoise shell monocle because he's a classy Ghostbuster. So yeah. I think it's pretty good. And Matt, if you see this up here, this Saw painting, this is a one-of-a-kind Nikki Ortega Diaz original.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I paid big money for it at the art auction.
I want to bring up 2 things right off the bat, Chris. First of all, Podcast Killed the Video Star, a show that I started in 2015 with comedians and musician friends, and we just watched music videos and just talked about the music videos. Ran until roughly 2017. And then when I had my son, I was kind of doing episodes here and there, but it wasn't as regular. And then I came back hard in 2019 and you were on a couple episodes.
Hard. That's right. We talked about the Too Legit to Quit video?
13-minute version of the
13-minute cut of Too Legit to Quit?
Think is what a brilliant passing of the torch between James Brown and MC Hammer.
It's very good.
When I came back in like 2018, I think it was, or whatever. There was another podcast that popped up called Podcast Killed the Video Star.
Boy, was there
the exact same thing that our show was doing, which is fine. I mean, like, there's only so many podcast ideas, but they also didn't even research the name before setting it up. And one of the hosts of the show plays the photographer on Minx, a show that I deeply love. And I was so angry and mad and bitter.
Wait, do you feel betrayed by something that you love? Like it hurt, something you love hurt you?
I mean, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. That's like
it's okay. You don't have to.
I was so angry that there was another show doing the exact same thing we were doing, but not that part, but the fact that it had the same name. And they didn't even do a Google search to see that there was currently a podcast with more listeners with that exact name.
That's the other thing. Now the guy on the show is quasi-famous, I would guess. So I'm betting he has a pretty decent listenership that has surpassed anything that you might have.
Oh, easily. And I wish them the best of luck, and I hope they have fun. I mean, that's all you can do.
But you're looking for your settlement. You want them to write you a big stinky check.
No, and I'll be honest, like once we got Wrestle Buddies and I was doing a couple other podcasts, like I was done with that show at that point, because like I don't know.
I know, because I really wanted to do a Coming Out of Our Shells tour video episode, and we never did. So, Matt, you realize you're going to have to do... I'm going to make you watch that now as an adult and do a Big Kid episode with me.
Big Kid, or we could do it on my show, I Just Want to Talk to Friends, which is... Chris and I have been talking. Our shows are kind of becoming each other, just with us singularly hosting. It's just me talking to friends about whatever. It's the same show.
Yeah, it's the same show. It's just me. Like the episode I was on was just me and Matt chatting, a lot like how me and Matt chatted about arcade games the last time he was here. This time, though, Matt, well, first of all, before we get into that, you said you had two things. You said the first thing was Podcast Killed. Did you have another thing?
Was like, hey, check out my podcast. I Just Want to Talk to Friends. But also, on the very first episode of Big Kid, I promised a show.
Oh, yes, you did.
I'm One of You with Oliver Jett Sr., a show about an Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos-esque character that is trying to like prove that he is just a common person and understands how common people work and whatever.
He's one of us.
I recorded 2 episodes with my friend and comedian Matt Drufke, and I hate the first episode. I never finished editing it. The second episode had a lot of funny parts, but the show is never... I may release it on my Substack for like subscribers only, but I am not into the show. I think it was like a good idea that I never fleshed out correctly. So that show... Okay. So if you listen to Big Kid, I promise that show. It's not coming. I'm looking at the camera right now and telling you, people, if you're watching video, I'm sorry. I have a lot of ideas. Sometimes I talk about those ideas publicly and they don't pan out. And that's okay, because that's a creative process.
Okay, but so when can we listen to I'm One of You with Oliver Jett Sr.?
So there's a good chance it may go on Substack if I edit it.
I knew it.
or I have a whole like SoundCloud, which is just pilots for weird podcasts I've come up with throughout the years that never got past the pilot. My favorite on there.
That sounds magical.
My favorite one I did was called Andrew Needs a Job. It was starring my friend and like a musician that I performed with for years, Andrew Parks. And each week he was going to interview somebody about their job and like learn more about what they do for work. The catch was every person he interviewed was me as a character. So the first awesome. Episode's with a stand-up routine I did for a long while called Joey Savior, who's a magician with a high libido. And he just talks about sex for an hour.
That's one way to...
Yeah, it's very cringy. It's a funny episode though. Like that episode's very funny because Joey Savior tries to turn everything that Andrew's talking to him about sexually. And it's so awkward, but I really like that first episode. We never got past the
pilot. I am gonna go have to listen to that because, as you know, Matt, I'm a Joey Savior stan. I've ever since I learned about him, I've been on the train and I miss.
You got to see a Zoom performance of Joey Savior.
I did. I've been to a Joey Savior show. It was incredible. It was definitely socially distanced over Zoom during the pandemic.
Was that Mike's last day at GameSpot? Or was it his birthday?
I think. I think it was the last.
It was Mike Virgil's last day at GameSpot, and I decided to give him a Joey Savior show.
Like a vulgar, horrible magician that we all love to death. But that's not why we're here, Matt. We're not here to talk about Joey Savior. We're here to talk about our beloved podcast, Wrestle Buddies, which went, I think, 149 episodes.
If you include the trailer, it's 150, but you don't include the trailer.
Yeah, we hated the trailer too. Like we didn't know we didn't know what we were doing. We should have re-recorded the trailer at some point along the way once we realized once we figured out what the show was. But like for 3 years on a weekly basis, Matt and I would huddle up together and record our dumb little wrestling podcast. And you know what? It wasn't dumb. It was great. And we'll get into some favorites, and maybe we'll even have some special visitors. But Matt, where do you stand now in terms of wrestling? Like, are you still watching wrestling very often? I know I text you about wrestling every now and then, like, oh man, here's a photo of something I'm watching on television that looks cool. But like, how are you watching wrestling?
Here's the thing, Chris. You know me very, very, very well. Like on a personal level. Like you are one of my closest friends. I think you know how I feel about how I want certain things to end. Like, I'll bring up like personal stuff. Like this year, my in-laws' house burned down, and like I've been with my wife. We've been married for like 10 years, but we've been together for 25. I never wanted to see the house since we were teenagers. I never wanted to see the house after it was burned. I didn't want to see them tear it down. So my last memory of that house is being in the actual house like a week before the fire.
Absolutely.
I haven't gone to any wrestling shows. My last wrestling show, which is weirdly bittersweet, was me and you at Royal Rumble right after I had gotten laid off.
That's right.
Like, I'm weird about like, because that was a really happy memory for me. Like you and I got to work together.
Yeah, that was a great day
considering the circumstances.
Yeah, we recorded our final episode. We went to the Royal Rumble, and then we met a fan.
Yeah.
Which is so
I love that. We talk about this in depth on I Just Want to Talk to Friends, the Chris Hayter episode.
Yes, we do. That's how I remembered it, because I just listened to that episode. I was like, I wonder what we talked about all those months ago. And Matt and I recorded.
Like behind the scenes of like how the show came together. It's real inside baseball stuff. But so my last wrestling show was Royal Rumble this 2023. I kind of pulled away from wrestling because I wasn't covering it for work anymore. I wasn't like watching anything. I watched Forbidden Door at a friend's house, and it was fun because I love New Japan. I love AEW. I love WWE. I'm not watching it weekly anymore. I'm watching pay-per-views depending on what the card is, but I'm not as invested. And that's fine. I mean, I'm a little, I think, and I'll be flat out honest, because I'm always really honest. Like, I'm still like bitter and burned about the whole GameSpot thing. Like, I'm not angry at anybody directly. I'm just angry about losing a job.
Yeah.
And like wrestling was such a big part of that job that like, I'm kind of like, I'm going to take a step away from things that were part of that job and just find myself. That's why you see me talking about like creating D&D terrain, or like just writing stand-up comedy again, even though I have no plans on doing it.
I will say, if you haven't, Matt's put together a really fun to follow Substack, because, and I'm going to ask you to throw out the URL in a second, Matt, but first I want to talk about how great you are. What I love about your Substack is how varied it is. You just write about all kinds of things, whatever you're into at the moment. I just got an email this morning about you painting. You've done D&D minis. Now you're doing D&T like play sets, or what are they
I'm
called?
Building like train modules for like battles.
Yeah. You've been texting me stuff. You texted me a picture of a boulder you made, and it looked like a boulder that like it literally just looked like you went outside and picked a rock up off the ground. And so at first I was like, oh cool, Matt went outside and got a rock. And then you're like, look what I made. And I'm like, no, it just looks like a rock.
It's all XPS foam, like insulation foam essentially. And like I have hot wires, and I cut stuff up. I've been gridding. I'm the stuff that I posted on Substack recently was my first venture into doing terrain, because I've been watching YouTube videos of this guy, Black Magic Craft, named Jeremy. That's his YouTube channel. Like how he goes to the dollar store and finds a bunch of stuff and incorporates it into terrain. I'm like, I would love to try that. That's the next step up from painting miniatures, which I enjoy, but like, I don't feel like I have that same sense of creativity. Like I can't create the world, and I love DMing and Dungeons and Dragons and DMing in general. And I really want to create something visual for players to see. I'm not a theater of the mind guy when it comes to D&D. I like the players to like also see what I'm seeing in my head. And the only way you can really do that for me is, because I'm not really good at describing things overly, is just to create that map on the board that the players can traverse and I paint all my, if I'm DMing and you're in my group, I will paint a mini for you. I'll get a mini, I'll paint it, and that's your character. And I try to match it up with what you're doing. But like, I really just want to create and do something like new and artistic, because I feel like being in news and an editorial, my voice kind of, I don't want to say slipped away. My voice was watered down. And that, I don't mean that in a bad way.
When you're doing what I refer to, simply because it just makes the most sense, corporate journalism. When you like, we all understand the way the industry works. You write things that then have ads placed on them that then earn money for the company you work for based on the number of people who come to things. So basically a lot of what you're doing, that's not to say there isn't room for like good solid reporting. There's still plenty of that. But but like in the news game, especially right now, in terms of as far as entertainment goes, it's a lot of like making sure your headline works right, making sure you're speaking to the right audience, making sure you're timing things right versus when your competitors posting. There's a weird level of science in like writing. And I was told there would be no math.
It's all math.
So I don't like it. I like the writing part. I don't like I don't like well, we got to like dig into each keyword and see how those rank versus other keywords.
And that's what I like.
We mentioned this in the headline.
I'm not saying.
I think it can be fun if you have time to dedicate yourself to that. If you don't have time to dedicate yourself to it, you're going to be miserable.
I'm in no way saying that GameSpot like took my creative voice away from me. Like I did some of the stupidest things in the world there. Like I had like one where I took screenshots of every time John Cena appeared on camera during WrestleMania and did like an existential crisis breakdown of his character. I did things where like I ranked every Mr. Freeze quote from Batman and Robin. Like I did a lot of fun, weird things there, and I got a cool voice there. But like I led news for so long on entertainment that like, I don't know, you feel like I had to refine myself, and that's kind of where I'm trying to do again. Like even working PR at Meow Wolf, which I'm no longer at as you're hearing this. As far as I know, who knows? Probably not. I mean, my contract's up next week, and this is going to be airing a long time from now. So, but even like
this could air next week. I don't know. This might be the season 2 premiere for all I know.
Who knows? Whatever. But working at Meow Wolf, like
listeners, Matt may or may not be working at Meow Wolf today, and you know what? It's none of your business if he is or not.
It can be your business, and it's October 5th. I'm done. October 5th. I'm done. My contract is just up, but like working in like the PR game and marketing was eye opening, and like I got taught so much, and it's a company that's cool as hell and punk rock and DIY, and so like I felt like I was supposed to be a 1 month contract, and it went 6 months. Like that's pretty awesome.
Pretty cool.
Anyways, Wrestle Buddies.
Very cool. Yes. So you mentioned all the dumb things you got to write. So let's talk about some of the dumb stuff we got to make. If you've never heard Wrestle Buddies and you find myself or Matt even mildly interesting, I behoove you to go onto your podcatcher of choice and just search out Wrestle Buddies. It's still there. I looked yesterday. Nobody's taken it down. And when somebody does take it down, I have all the backups and I can put them somewhere. I don't know where, but I'll put them somewhere.
Chris, a podcast I did 12 years ago is still on Apple Podcasts.
That's true. That's okay. Fair enough. For all I know, CBS is still footing the bill for our hosting, and they haven't owned us since 2020. So who knows? Wrestle Buddies, and Matt, feel free to break in at any time. I know technically Big Kid is my solo record, but like today's a duet, bro. And you drove the ship on Wrestle Buddies.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did. You did the intro every week, unless I stole it from you.
I did the intro. You did the outro. That was always the thing.
But I'm here to break the fourth wall. The outro was pre-recorded very early on in the podcast, and Matt just played that piece of audio every single time. It's not so much
that for me. It was like it's a duo show. We're both running this show, and I want one voice to open up the show and one voice to close. That to me, that's what it was. So. We produced together. I edited, I think, every episode.
I think so. Yeah.
I think I got all the music for all the weird characters or things we did. But like that was very much like
weird characters.
No, the music for the weird character. I mean, I'm sorry, the music for our reoccurring guests that would always show up.
our co-stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was always like. That show was never about wrestling. That was just about our friendship. That was always the show to me. It was just about I like hanging out.
Wrestling was the setting for us goofing off for an hour
and getting paid to goof off.
Getting paid to be better buddies.
That's all it was.
And it worked. And a lot, and I as I told you when we were going to this, I didn't make any notes for today because I didn't feel like we would probably need them. I still don't think we need them. Do you have any topics? Do you have any favorite topics that we chatted about? Because there are some. Look, I'll be real with you people. There are a lot of episodes where it's like we were like, yeah, I guess we'll talk about this, and then we would goof around for a long time and make it great. But even if there wasn't a lot of meat on,
I'll give everybody insight. If there's an episode where numerous guests are coming on, I'm putting that in quotes. That means we did not care enough about the topic and we just wanted to make it fun.
Yeah. That's why we started doing standalone predictions episodes with our buddy Prediction Bot. Like, honestly, if you think about it, like at a certain point, we're like, well, we're just going to do WrestleMania predictions with Prediction Bot.
Do we want to go kayfabe or shoot on that if we're going to use wrestling terms?
Ooh, I would love to shoot. We can shoot. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how Prediction
Bot's a monster. He's a real scumbag. Hey, I'll be honest with you. What's up? They are a real scumbag
because it's not a human being. It doesn't have a.
It is a computer.
That's why it's switched from male and female voices between the show.
Yes.
Prediction Bot came about because I thought prediction episodes for wrestling were dumb. I thought they were so dumb.
They're very dumb. They're very dumb. That's why we couldn't do one.
I think we had Prediction Bot. I just found like text to speech programs on like they're so bad, and I was like, why don't we just get like a robot to like predict things? But the robot never. The Prediction Bot's supposed to be right 100% of the time, but also Prediction Bot is an idiot and doesn't understand wrestling and just talks about Colin Firth shirtless.
Is super horny for Colin Firth.
I do not know how that happened. We talked about this on the phone the other day about Colin Firth. I do not know how that happened. I don't know. I think it was just funny to me.
Here, quick pause, Matt. I just got a text from Nikki that says, "Where is Dog Dead?" Okay. Yeah, look, prediction, any type of prediction episode. I don't like predictions for like who's going to win awards, what's going to be the best movie of the summer. I don't care because these are all people making guesses on things that we don't know about until it happens. So when you brought up the idea of Prediction Bot as our advanced AI that predicts the outcome of wrestling matches but is always wrong, that spoke to me in such a way. And when he just started talking about shirtless Colin Firth, I was like, oh, this is it. This is the bit. This is absolutely the character. And Prediction Bot, I think, was probably on the podcast more than literally any other guest, again, in finger quotes, I think we had.
SmackDown Hacker might have been on a little bit more.
Ooh. Maybe, because SmackDown Hacker came in fits and spurts. Like, you wouldn't hear from SmackDown Hacker for a long time, and then you wouldn't get rid of him for a month.
Yeah. SmackDown Hacker is and to put this into context, it's such a specific moment in WWE history where before Retribution came, like SmackDown was getting hacked. And I thought, wouldn't it be funnier if the person hacking the show would just come on our show and wanted to be a bodyguard for Kesha, I think was the whole bit.
Yeah. And this was his being a bodyguard for WWE that got hired to save people from the hacker, which, look, our lore is as deep and complicated and nonsensical as the craziest horror franchise.
I understand every aspect of the lore of the characters that came on. Like there are
absolutely, but none of them make sense in the context of the show, and that's why they all make sense in the context of the show.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recommend, because if you know me outside of the real world, if you saw me do stand-up, you know that like character work's a big thing for me. And I'm going to plug my podcast again. I just want to talk to friends. There's an episode with Josh Shank from the band Sealed Casket, which is like Medieval Times meets Judas Priest. It was a metal band that did a Medieval Times type like show and a performance, and I was one of the characters on the stage. I didn't play music, but we talk a lot about character work and lore, and like I think people get a better understanding of why these dumb characters kept showing up on Wrestle Buddies and what character work means to me if you listen to that. It's just like I take character work very seriously, even though my character work is some of the dumbest stuff you've ever heard. Like I took SmackDown Hacker very seriously, Prediction Bot seriously. Dog Dad Lawyer is not me, but I took that very seriously.
And by the way, obviously we'll go through links and whatnot at the end. But if you want access to Matt's podcast now, just check the description. I'll make sure we get in all the links to his socials. His Substack is everything, and I think everything is based out of your Substack at this point, right? That's where the pod even lives.
I mean, like it's on Apple Podcasts and everywhere, but everything's based on Substack. Once I found out Substack can do podcasting, I'm like, oh, thank God! Like I can host something here and not have to go somewhere else.
Meanwhile, I am very pleased with Acast. Thank you, the good people at Acast.
Sponsored.
Not sponsored, no. No, in fact, I actually have to pay them to use their service because that's how services work.
It is. That's why I had to pay for Adobe Audition, because I did not want to use Audacity to edit podcasts anymore.
Okay, Matt, look. Things have changed since Wrestle Buddies ended, but we're still sitting in the same places we were, and we're still recording. And I'm hopeful that means we have some friends stopping by. I specifically, and I think this might be the first time I've ever asked for it, am wondering if we can get Prediction Bot in the room. And correct me if I'm wrong, is it Prediction Bot? Which version of Prediction Bot are we on? Because I remember the last upgrade came when offhandedly I said something as a joke that I ended up deciding that we were just going to keep it as the lore of this podcast. Triple H, when he took creative control of WWE, we also handed him creative control of our podcast for some reason. And it was hunting, hiking, and...
It's heroism, hunting, hiking.
Heroism, hunting, and hiking is what we decided Triple H stood for in Wrestle Buddies parlance. Not Hunter Hearst Helmsley, because he's a real outdoorsman. But yeah, something that was a constant in the show was Prediction Bot. He went through went through multiple iterations. Do you know what we're on now?
Hello, I am Prediction Bot 3.0.
3.0.
Same one as before.
Wow. Sounds Irish.
Yeah, a little. It does say, I mean, Prediction Bot has gone through male voices, female voices, Australian, British, Irish, Scottish.
I was gonna say, I think the last one was Australian. So it looks like there's been at least a firmware update.
At least one firmware update. Am I correct about that? Am I correct about it? Stop switching the sides on me. I'm trying to do a bit. Cricky. Okay.
Cricky. Is that the Irish way of saying crikey?
So.
Okay. Thanks, Prediction Bot. I mean, since you're here, I mean, what will we even ask for a prediction on? Oh, the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's coming up in January. Matt, I don't know if you know this. It's coming to Tampa, Florida, where I live. So yes, wait, it's going to be
at the
here.
Bucs Stadium?
No, at the Rays Stadium.
Oh no, you got to have the Bucs Stadium, man. It's
that
pirate ship.
No, that's the WrestleMania Stadium. I don't think they can fill that for the Rumble. Even though I would argue the Rumble is cooler than WrestleMania. Having finally been to a Royal Rumble after all this time, it's my
favorite pay-per-view I've ever gone to, and I've been to a lot of pay-per-views.
Same. Okay, so Royal Rumble coming up in January. It's going to be in Tampa, where I live. What prediction bot can you tell us? Like, who's going to win? Do they know who's going to win? They might not even know who's going to win yet, but who's the current projected winner for the Royal Rumble?
On this day, I see clearly.
Okay, no, I'm cutting that off now.
No, he's not even in the company anymore as of, like, by the time this episode's out, I think. Like, he's probably going to AEW. Yes, that was the beginning lyrics of Edge's theme song, Prediction Bot. I don't know that Prediction Bot likes Edge as much as Prediction Bot loves Edge's theme song.
I think it's just like, it's once you say Edge and then you go to Prediction Bot, you're just getting Alter Bridge's Metalingus lyrics.
I never said the word Edge, though, did I?
I don't know what happened. You probably didn't. I think that's just probably been pent up.
This was waiting since the last episode where we talked about Edge. All right, well, okay, you got that out of your system, Prediction Bot. Talk to me about the Rumble. Who do you see going the distance and winning?
Pent up like Colin Firth's pecs.
Okay, all right. That was also probably pretty pent up as well. I think this is why we didn't do this very often, because Prediction Bot is a monster.
Thanks for stopping by, Prediction Bot. We missed you.
Hold on.
You know what?
What?
I have one final question for Prediction Bot, because Matt, the wrestling landscape has changed since Wrestle Buddies ended. Vince McMahon no longer owns WWE. He's no longer the controlling shareholder. So, Prediction Bot, I want you to think about this for a minute, because this is a big question. What does the future of WWE look like?
CM Punk will run the show. He'll burn it to the ground like all his bridges he's burned.
Oof.
Wow. Whoa! Hot take, Prediction Bot. This is why we kept bringing Prediction Bot back. Scorching hot takes. Thank you, Prediction Bot. You can integrate or whatever.
By idiots.
Okay. That's really rude. Now I see why Prediction Bot stopped showing up. By stop showing up, I mean we just stopped it from showing up.
Yeah. That was.
Remember, we created that program. You and I coded together for weeks on that.
This is what happens when you let Matt and I make technology. Matt and I, who do not know how to code anything except maybe HTML.
I can do HTML and I can do basic DOS programming.
Yep, and I can do some basic JavaScript.
Hey, does your website need frames in 1994? Call Mat Elfring.
Oh, bro. Same. Also, iframes. You know about inline frames?
Let's do them.
That was my shit.
Angel Fire.
I created... Oh, GeoCities. Angel Fire. Oh, that's the good stuff. All right, Matt. Before we bring in another guest, I want to talk to you about arguably my favorite Wrestle Buddies topic we ever discussed. What do you think it is?
I know your favorite episode. Your favorite episode that doesn't involve guests is Smackadias.
Oh, that's a really good, horrible episode. Yeah. One of our because we did that one at WrestleMania 2022. Yes. Okay. That is not the episode I was thinking of, though. The episode I was thinking of, Hulk Hogan's Pastamania. An early an early one, but man, I feel like Hulk Hogan's Pastamania sets the stage for what our podcast is. And gave us opened a world to so many things. First of all, for the uninitiated, Hulk Hogan briefly had a pasta kiosk in the Mall of America called Hulk Hogan's Pastamania, where you could buy stuff like Hulkaroos, Hulk's Power Pasta, which I think was like a protein heavy pasta
sauce you could put on it too. Oh.
There was a white clam sauce at the mall pasta kiosk. And then years after we actually recorded the episode, I found myself in the Mall of America, and thanks to my fantastic partner Nikki, located where Pastamania was, and it is now a Popeyes.
It's like
chicken.
when I went to Mall of America and spent most of my time there figuring out where they filmed the first episode of Nitro.
Matt, did you know that recently they did another wrestling show there, like within the past month? In that spot. Yeah, I saw Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb was in attendance, and I saw him posting about it on Instagram, and it blew my mind that someone set up a freaking wrestling show in the middle of the Mall of America. That's just awesome. Like Nitro. So good. But yeah, Pastamania was a pasta kiosk that failed, and it opened the door in my mind to us doing stuff like WWF New York, the WCW Nitro Bar and Grill in Las Vegas, which is now a Dick's Last Resort, which is the saddest weird thing ever.
Have you ever been into a Dick's Last Resort? I never have.
I've been into one so I could see what it was about. I did not stay because the way they were talking to people hurt my feelings, and I was like, I cannot deal with this. I am too vulnerable.
Chicago has Ed DeBevick's, where like the wait staff is.
It's like an Ed DeBevick's. Yes, it's a place where you go and you order food, and they tell you that you're a scumbag and you don't deserve to eat their food, and they give it to you, and you give them money for being mean to you, and then you leave to Las Vegas.
Cool.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But I wish I would have been to the WCW Nitro Grill. And I'll tell you what, there was nobody at is it Dick's Last Resort? I think it's Dick's Last Resort, right?
Like that's like your last resort for food is you go to this place where people are rude to you. It's got to be so cathartic for the servers every day.
Dick's Last Resort is known for its intentional employing of an obnoxious staff who, quote, purposely provide bad service. Dick's Last Resort teaches its servers to be obnoxious. In addition to the staff, the decor is considered to be, quote, wacky. The restaurants can oftentimes have mismatched furniture and paper tablecloths. Patrons of Dick's are expected to be insulted or placed in uncomfortable situations. A staple of Dick's is their handmade paper hats with insults written on them, given to diners to wear during their stay. Guests could have napkins and straws thrown at them by staff. Why?
That's the same thing as the Bevics. Which came first? Who ripped off who?
Why? This is bad. I don't like it. I don't want to like it. I'm not going to like it.
I don't know. Like when I went to Ed DeBevick's as a kid and teenager, like you could tell the staff, like, "Hey, can you not be mean?" And they'd totally be cool with it.
I don't think you can do that at Dick's Last Resort. Also, isn't there like a hot dog stand in Chicago or something where they're kind of jerks to you?
Winter Circle. That's Winter Circle, and that's only at night. If you go during the day, it's pretty normal. But at night, like there's so many bars in that area that it's just drunken assholes, and so the staff is just like, "Why should I take crap from these like jerks? I'm just going to give it right back to them."
I like it. So, but if I went in at night and I was nice to them, would they be nice to me?
They're usually, I've never gotten yelled at there, but I've never been mean. Like, cause people go there looking for a fight. I went there for a hot dog and like, no one was mean to, they were like, people were sassy, I guess is the best, but no one was straight out mean to me. But I saw them yelling at other people and screaming at them. And again, I'm like, this is cathartic. Like, I'm sure the person doing this is just feels good about being able to let go of that anger.
I'm actually glad you put it that way, Matt, because master host than I'm using it as a transition to talk about another guest, one that was arguably very mean to you all the time, in as much as I think he stole your house and turned it into a Starbucks. So I don't actually know where you're recording.
No, I'm still in my house. If we remember the final episode of Wrestle Buddies, this Triple H's lawyer, Dog Dad lawyer, his plan was to steal my house, blow it up, and build it into a Starbucks. And during the course of the series, he bought my next door neighbor's house and made it into a larger version of my house. So
yes, he did.
He was awful. I haven't seen him at all.
So did he never build the Starbucks?
No, my house is still here, but I live next door to a larger version of my house.
Do you see him ever?
I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh. Well, then maybe he's gone or on sabbatical or.
Hello, everybody. I've hacked in with some help, and I am here to tell you about my services, Dog Dad Lawyer Esquire. Lawyer to the stars.
Wait. To the star. Okay, I have several questions. Why did you hack in? You're literally next door.
I or are you not home? For 7 times the price.
Wow. So you made a bunch of money off of making Matt's life miserable.
I made $7. Because Matt's house is worthless. Come on, man. That's rude.
Matt, I don't think that's true. Matt, I will tell you this. If I could have bought that house for $7, I would have become your next door neighbor.
My house is worth more than $1. The land itself is worth more than $1. I live downtown in a nice city. I don't know. Well, your house is so worthless that if I covered it in all the excrements from all the cities, it would be worth more.
Why are Dog Dad Lawyer? It's been quite a while since we've last spoken. Have you not found any sort of peace with Matt at all in that time?
I haven't spoken to him since I moved out and sold the house for $70. And
wait, you said $7 earlier. Now it's 70. Which one is correct? Oh, okay.
That's how it works. Now I've gone back to lawyering. I'm doing some great lawyering for the stars.
Oh, what? Are you allowed to say which stars, or is that like an attorney-client privilege
Alpha
sort of thing?
Centauri, other stars? I protect their rights.
Oh, you mean like the in space?
Yeah, stars, but
like the balls of gas that are millions of miles away.
Sun. I don't represent our sun. That's non-representable. Representable. I'm having some trouble. I've had a lot of coffee.
Definitely a real lawyer.
I'm a real lawyer.
So wait. Okay, so when you say lawyer to the stars, immediately I think you mean people like Triple H. You were Triple H's lawyer. But you're not anymore?
I do not represent Triple H. He no longer represents Wrestle Buddies or WWE. So I am just
well, he does he's still the chief creative officer.
Oh, there was a Black Friday there where they let all of the lawyers go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So you and Matt Riddle and Dolph Ziggler.
No, I was a few months prior to that. I went with
wait, they cut you before the acquisition?
Yeah, they cut me before the acquisition. It was a different Black Friday. I'm sorry that you think
was it literally on Black Friday? The day after Thanksgiving?
Cyber Monday. But they let tons of stars go, and then they also let Dog Dad Lawyer go, and I had a little bit of a rough patch. I tried to go to AEW, but I was not all in, as they say, or all elite.
Oh, so they didn't. Now, question: did you have any interviews with them?
Interviews with AEW? No, I literally stuck my foot in the door, and they said, "Hey, you, get out of here." That was it.
Oh. Did Tony Khan say that?
No, it was just nice. It was the Davis Center, and I just put my foot in the door, and they said,
"Oh, okay. You just broke into an arena that AEW is going to be
usually there." So I just figured I could get a job if I hung out in front.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry it didn't work, but hey, you landed the stars as your client.
Let me tell you about all the lawsuits. I'm suing everybody for stealing Alpha Centauri's light.
Wait. What about Matt? Are you suing Matt?
I don't know at this point. I'm still trying to get together the class action documents. Is it like a reverse class action lawsuit?
Wait, is this a reverse class action? It's not everybody suing one person. It's one person suing everybody.
RCA in our business, an RCA recording.
Oh. I love it. I love it, man. I have so many questions because this is not what I expected with you coming in. How did you get in contact with the stars?
So, radio signals existed many years ago when I was a child. I sent a radio signal out and on a CB radio, and it said, "Hi, I'm Dog Dad Lawyer. Do you need a lawyer? Contact me." And then eventually, after some years, it got to Alf Centauri, and then they sent it back, and they said yes, and then I became their lawyer.
Okay. Wow. So when you were a kid, you were telling people that you were a Dog Dad Lawyer. That's what I take away from this.
Yeah.
As a child, you misrepresented yourself as an actual lawyer and a dog dad.
Is it fraud when you're already on the path to passing the bar?
Yes, absolutely. If you haven't passed the bar, you're not a lawyer.
We all know the journeys that we're on, and we all know the journeys. And I knew I was going to be the best lawyer and best dog dad of all time. And
I didn't know my journey.
How could you not know your journey? Can't you see into the future? Like all of us came from your local psychic?
No. I've never been to a psychic before. Have you gone to a psychic?
They light candles. They flip over playing deck cards.
I like that.
And they tell you you're going to be successful.
I like all of that. That sounds great.
And all it costs is like $200 per session.
Wait, no, I don't like that.
But you get to know the future. This sounds like mumbo jumbo to me. Like this is ridiculous. Psychics aren't real.
Matt, I
mean, like they exist, but psychic powers are not real.
Yeah, like they physically are real. Like I can reach out and punch them in the face for lying to you, but like they don't actually speak to the other side. I don't.
No, Chris, it's leaps of logic to me. You have to believe in an afterlife. You have to believe ghosts exist. And then you have to believe ghosts can talk to people. Then you have to believe that people have the superpower to talk to ghosts. And then you have to believe that that person is reputable and trustworthy. There's like 6 layers there. And I don't like any of them.
I think WWE needs a ghost wrestler.
I can find WWE, a real ghost wrestler who's also the GOAT of ghost wrestling.
Wow.
Greatest of all time.
I'm into it.
I mean, I can find it. I don't have anybody right now, but I can definitely find a ghost wrestler.
All right, Matt, I know how I'm going to get out of this. What I'm calling on you to do, Dog Dad Lawyer, is to go out in the world and find us a ghost wrestler. And we'll talk to him, giving you full credit.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can get them to WWE. And you know what? If you get them to WWE, I think that means you get 10% of their deal.
I'm going to go do this right now. I will get back to Wrestle Buddies on your next episode. I'll be right there.
Yeah, just email. Once you have it all set up, just shoot me an email, wrestlebuddies@gamespot.com, and we will get you scheduled to come back on.
Thank you so much, Chris. Not so much, Matt. Bye. All right. Yeah.
Bye.
Great.
Don't forget that definitely real email address.
Is that still an email address? It probably might not be.
I don't know. I don't know that it ever actually was. It worked for a time. I don't think it does anymore, but also I don't know. I haven't tried to email it. So I guess we'll find out if I get an email from Dog Dad Lawyer because that was set up as a forward, then yeah, it's definitely real. Although it still probably forwards to our Red Ventures accounts. Which means I'll get it twice because not only do I get my Red Ventures emails forwarded to me, I also get yours and Mason's Red Ventures emails forwarded to me to this day.
What a terrible company.
I'm great. I have so many emails.
I don't have any.
So many.
Let me just look right now.
That's
nothing. That's great. Love it. I'm really glad Dog Dad Lawyer is out of my life because he is a liar, miserable human being, and a liar.
Matt, if you tempt the fates like that, he's just going to find his way back into your life.
Probably.
So don't do that.
Anyways, that Dog Dad Lawyer, we're just going to shoot on this. Dog Dad Lawyer was created because I saw someone's Twitter profile that said Cat Dad, like this was the bio. It said Cat Dad, comma, like aspiring writer. And I got mad about it at numerous levels. I'm like, you're not an aspiring writer, just be a writer. And the second was like, Cat Dad is the thing you list first? Like, that's your first list?
Above your passion?
And so I thought, I thought like someone's bio of just like dog dad, lawyer was funny. And then I made it into a wrestler. So it existed outside of Wrestle Buddies for a while.
Also, if you go on to WWE 2K23 right now, and I think if you search either Wrestle Buddies or I'm Mat Elfring, you can find 2 dog dad lawyers.
There's regular dog dad lawyer.
The real one, and then the one listed as the real one.
So the real one, which you can't watch anymore because I'm not on Twitch as much anymore. I was doing Twitch for a while, and Dog Dad Lawyer showed up on 2 streams. And one of the streams, he made what he thinks he looks like, which is the real dog.
And that's listed as real dog dad lawyer.
Guy.
He like if that was really what he looked like, dog dad lawyer would have won the tournament of beef.
The beefiest boy.
But he doesn't look like that. No. It's a lie. Man, do we want to just go straight into another character, see who else is popping through?
Yeah. I think there's like, let me just see if Motley Cruz is here. Motley Cruz.
Oh. You already messed it up, Matt.
This all in. It's so funny. Look at your face.
That's not my role. I don't play Motley Cruz. I talk to Motley Cruz. I'm jumping Jeff Farmer. Oh, Motley Cruz. It's just a more aggressive Macho Man Randy Savage, and that's I think there was one episode where I went longer as Jumpin' Jeff Farmer and gave him backstory. I don't remember any of it. I'll have to re-listen to the episode, but like it was basically that Jumpin' Jeff Farmer was born out of like, first of all, Jumpin' Jeff Farmer was a real wrestler. Is a real wrestler? I don't know.
Or was.
And Matt and I, we had a piece called Wrestle Piece Theater, which was essentially like dramatic readings of old wrestling promos. And it's something that I've thought, it'd be great if we brought that back as a reoccurring bit on one of our podcasts, just because it's fun. And the first one was a promo with an announcer and a wrestler named Jumpin' Jeff Farmer.
Jeff Farmer.
Who is just some 80s.
He's like the most like 80s
guy?
Territorial like wrestler you've ever seen. Like kind of like a blonde curly mullet, skinny guy, had zero charisma though.
And as it turns out, the way I voice him is not the way he voices him.
It's because his whole thing was like he just like kind of look at the camera awkwardly and he point and he go, Motley Cruz, I've seen what you've done to my family. You're not going to like what I've got coming for you.
And my interpretation was, oh, Motley Cruz, I seen what you did to my family. You have no idea what's coming to you.
No, you read it like a real promo instead of a guy who's camera shy.
Yeah. I read it like a promo instead of a guy reading his research paper.
Yeah, Wrestle Piece.
And that was
one of my favorite things.
Wrestle Piece
that came from before I came to GameSpot. I was at Comic Vine, we were owned by CBS, and I had a podcast there. I was on 3 podcasts on Comic Vine, but the one that I ran was called The Endless Promo, which was a wrestling podcast where we just kind of recapped Raw, and I hate that idea, but
it was a typical wrestling podcast.
But there was one week where, remember when the Bella sisters were,
here's my listicle, 5 RKOs that'll blow your balls off.
There was the week where the Bella twins were fighting each other, and they did a promo, or Nikki did the promo growing up Bella.
Oh, yes.
So the first time Wrestle Piece Theater existed was me doing a better dramatic reading of Nikki's promo.
Was it Nikki's promo where she was like, I wish you would have died in the womb?
There was vignettes. There were actual vignettes where it was like her in front of a black screen. It said growing up Bella. And she'd say, and it always end with like, I've never told anybody this, and she'd say something bad about Brie, but she would talk about like growing up and how Brie was always better than her or something. They were really like, I love them, but I don't love them because they're good. I love it because it's such a derivative, bad, like storyline. Like there was no flavor to the storyline of like these two related people fighting. It was just like, I'm jealous of you. That was it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought it'd be really funny to turn it into a reoccurring segment. We did like Motley. We did a bunch of them. We had everybody from GameSpot After Dark on.
I distinctly remember the episode you surprised me with. It was like all of our friends at GameSpot plus Matt Fowler and Eric Goldman from the We Enjoy ... podcast. And it was the Austin 316 promo, right?
I had everybody read one line. That was for your book.
Because didn't Fowler do it British? God, what a good podcast we made.
What a good podcast that no one listened to.
Hey, that guy in Texas listened to it.
Very upset that we were not coming back and that I was laid off.
I got to be honest. It blows my mind that not only did he listen to it, but he evidently listened to it enough that he noticed us in a crowd and was like, "That's Matt and Chris from Wrestle Buddies."
Coming back from the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, this was while we were walking back to the hotel from the Royal Rumble with thousands of other people.
That was bonkers.
It was nuts. Pretty dope. Matt, I think there's really only one last person that might stop by, but I also, but like we might want to talk it up first because I believe this is also the most difficult one to welcome into the room.
Is it? I feel like this person that has appeared on our show numerous times, not Adam Cole, not Nyla Rose, not Serpentico, not Xavier Woods.
Yeah, like, look, maybe eventually down the, I think I'd like to have Serpentico on. I've already told you, I kind of want to have, like, you and I are going to do a podcast for you about the movie Blank Check that Serpentico evidently wants to be on.
And Serpentico, by the time this comes out, he would have been on my show. Yeah,
he's on your pod.
Him and I still chat pretty often.
And same, I have yet to reach out just because I have yet to reach out, but I hope to get him on the show. Because honestly, he's really into tabletop board gaming, and I think that's really cool and something I'd like to chat about. But yeah, we're not talking about any of those people. Although I will say, as a fun little follow up, as anyone who listens to the show knows, Adam Cole was on a bunch of times. He actually became usually talking
a co-hosted by the end.
Yeah.
He was actually a part of the
it was rarely to talk about wrestling. It was almost entirely to talk about video games. And this is while he was actually out of action, injured in AEW. And it was really fun to just kind of get to shoot the shit about games and stuff like that during that time. And I will say, after the wrap of Wrestle Buddies, I was in LA, and I think it was after the wrap of Wrestle Buddies, I was in LA, and I just so happened to be there for the AEW Dynamite episode that he returned in. So I got to be there to watch his comeback live. And then I traveled out to LA again for WrestleMania this year. And I spent the majority of my time hanging out in the WrestleFest. Is it WrestleFest? What is it? WrestleCon. I spent the majority of my time not at wrestling or working, hanging out in the WrestleCon bar with some friends. And there was a lot of wrestlers coming through. And I saw Adam there one night, and I got to go over and catch up with him and just let him know, like, I'm so proud of his ability to come back. Of course, anyone who watches AEW right now knows that he has just injured himself again. He broke his ankle in 3 places and will be requiring surgery to repair. Wishing him, not even luck. Like, luck isn't enough. Like, I'm sending all my good vibes that guy's way, because when good people deserve good things, and it's a second bout of bad luck for a really good dude. And so here's hoping.
He's one of because we talked to him a lot off of camera. Like, every time we record an episode, we'd still talk for like half an hour. And
at least
there's a handful of people in wrestling that I think are genuinely like amazing human beings. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody else, but like, it's like Adam Cole, genuinely amazing human being. Like, Serpentico's on that list.
Just a great
Xavier Woods, like,
I would put Nyla on that level. Like, I love Nyla to death. I will say, Matt, before we get to our last guest, I just want to reflect on the people we were able to book on our show.
We talked to Billy Corgan.
Like, in terms of we talked to Billy Corgan for like 45 minutes. It felt
was
like
so weird. I mean, it was weird because, like, you and I are the same age. Like, Smashing Pumpkins was music when I was growing up, and I'm from Chicagoland.
Yeah, bro. The world is a vampire.
Set the drain.
But yeah, Billy Corgan 100% just talking about owning the NWA and how his history as a touring rock star helps him as a touring wrestling promoter. I thought that was really interesting. We had Cody Rhodes came on the show and gave honestly one of the most insightful interviews I feel like we had on this show. And of course, Dirt Sheets caught a little snippet of it and ran with it.
Oh, that was, man. Let me tell you about Dirt Sheets after that interview, because I believe the quote was something along the lines of, oh God, what was the context of that?
It was his Super Pro America promo, and he mentioned workshopping it with some people, and evidently the internet took that to mean that he was workshopping it with the world, with everybody in AEW, and like that what he was doing for all of his promos, blah blah. He was basically saying he works on his promos before he goes out. He doesn't just go off the cuff. He gets what he wants set, and he runs the notes by a few people that he trusts, and like, but that's
the Dirt
fine.
Sheets took it as like everything is fully scripted and everybody knows about it. I'm like, no, that's not what you need to know. What workshopping is. When I have an idea for a podcast, I workshop it with Chris privately in a text.
Yep.
Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. You know, like,
like the Cast and the Furious. The podcast I still want to do about the Fast and the Furious, which might just honestly become a Matt. I don't know about you. Now that I'm doing Big Kid, I have like 25 different Big Kid imprint ideas. Like Big Kid Presents.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do Big Kid commentaries with a K. That's how it's spelled. It's BIGKID commentary spelled properly, and then at the end with a K.
Right, that's right.
And that just makes me laugh. Jesus, who else did we have, Matt? Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae. At WrestleMania, we talked to Becky Lynch. We talked to Trinity Fatu / Naomi. We talked to Austin Tahiri. We talked to everybody's favorite charismatic wrestler, Braun Breaker, who had no interest in us or our dumb stuff. We talked to Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, and he revealed to us that he's the woman on Shawn Michaels' theme song singing the sexy boy. He told us that story, and my mind was blown. I don't know if people knew that before. I'm assuming they did. I didn't, and I was freaking out.
We also, because we had Dana Brooke and Tamina that day, too.
We had Dana Brooke and Tamina. We didn't talk to them for the pod, though. Did we?
Tamina, yes.
We talked to them for the wedding piece.
Tamina, yes. Dana Brooke, we were just kind of like shooting the shit with. And she was, I feel bad that she was let go, but like because she was just such a friendly person.
She's great. Wonderful. You know who else is wonderful, Matt? Dalton Castle. Our first guest.
We had him on twice.
Right. We had him on twice. Dalton Castle was on episode 2. Ring of Honor, bless them, took a chance on a podcast that had not released any episodes yet, that was recording literally while Matt had COVID.
Yeah.
And was in horrible state. And Dalton gave us a very, I think, very good and interesting like chat on like sort of a shoot chat on his career, his time in Ring of Honor, and his time visiting the Tiger King Zoo. Which remember when we were all obsessed with Tiger King?
30 shows came out and no one cared about him. But
yeah.
he came back.
And then Dalton came back for arguably our best interview. It's our second best interview, I will say. He came back in character on the run, while also raising baby tigers or something.
From what I remember, it was, first of all, his gimmick back then was like, I'm very, very busy. I don't have time to do this. So he kept telling us how busy he was. But then also it morphed into he was stealing dogs and like he was kidnapping dogs in the neighborhood. It was so weird. Like,
yeah,
I remember like that he just hung up.
And then at the end, he just left.
I could not stop laughing. I think I left of us laughing on there because it was so funny.
Yeah. Oh, it was the funniest it was hilarious. But our best was one of our finals, and it was our 2022 Christmas special, holiday special, in which we brought on two of our favorite AEW luminaries, King Serpentico, the Snake Man, and Nyla Rose, the Native Beast, to settle their Twitter feud once and for all. And I feel like I feel like it took a while to get there, but we did it, at least briefly. I noticed they still hate each other online. And they're very good at it too. They're very good at poking at each other, which I think is hilarious. But I like to think for just a moment we installed a piece.
And I'm here I go again, plugging my podcast. Listen to the Serpentico episode. He actually discusses that relationship.
Does he really?
There's so many times where I was talking to him. I'm like, hey, if you don't want to answer this question, you don't feel comfortable, or don't want to break kayfabe or anything like that, just don't answer it, and we'll move on. He's like, no, we'll answer everything. I'm just like, dude, thank you.
Now, let me ask you this for a little Big Kid exclusive. They're buddies, right?
From what I found out,
and again, all the details we found on I Just Want to Talk to Friends over at I'm Mat Elfring.substack.com and wherever you find your podcasts.
They're buddies, but they're not super best friends. They're friends, and they know the Twitter feud is awesome and fun for everybody, and so they just keep doing that.
I love it. I love it. What else do you need? Nothing.
What you need is to have your lives opened up to hacking and the music of Kesha. I'm back, Chris and Matt, for one last hack of your podcast.
Hi. How are you?
I am very excited to traverse the internet and break through to the other side like John Morrison, the wrestler, not the guy from the Doors who was Jim Morrison.
Wait. Okay, so this is the SmackDown hacker, everyone. You might have heard Matt and I talking about him earlier. He claimed to be behind the hacking of SmackDown during the pandemic, which WWE later revealed that it was Mustafa Ali and his new crew Retribution that were doing the hacking, but I believe that's a lie. Right?
It was me the entire time, but WWE has cut me out of my greatest achievement, hacking SmackDown.
I am so sorry. What? Okay, so originally you hacked SmackDown to become a security guard because your ultimate goal was to be Kesha's security guard. I think you moved around and did some other stuff after that. I don't remember what you were doing when last we spoke, but I don't think it was security for anybody.
I was, for a short time, I'm sorry, I kind of broke character for a second because I remembered what I did. I was a spokesperson for Applejacks.
That's right. That's right. No, you weren't. You were not a spokesperson for Applejacks. You were trying to be, and you thought you were, but we reached out to the people at Applejacks. They don't know who you are. So I guess my question is, what are you up to or not up to now?
It is 8 a.m. I've got to get up and go to the counter. I'm so hungry. Oh, what's that up there on the shelf? Applejacks, filled with more vitamin D than I need in my daily dosage. I would throw an old person off a roof for some Applejacks. Applejacks.
Okay. I have so many questions. Yeah. First of all, Applejacks has barely any vitamin D.
No, they have that company, that Kellogg, I don't know. They've all added more vitamin D to their cereals. I saw it on a commercial on YouTube yesterday.
No, I understand that. What I'm telling you, though, is that there's still not much vitamin D in it. In fact, according to the nutrition facts, which I'm looking at literally right now, it contains one bowl or one portion of Applejacks contains about 5% of
if you're
vitamin D. So how much Applejacks are you eating?
20 portions, that's 100% of what you need every day, and that's all you really.
Are you eating 20 portions of Applejacks every day?
Why wouldn't? They're so tasty and yummy. Applejacks, send me some Applejacks.
Well, I will say this: Are you only eating Applejacks?
I eat Applejacks. I like to have Lipton iced tea, trademarked, and I also enjoy eating a nice piece of salmon once in a while.
Okay, well, because I just so you know, if you're eating 20 portions of Applejacks a day, that in and of itself more than satisfies the daily the daily general nutrition advice of 2,000 calories a day.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, you've seen the food pyramid that the government put out, where the top of the food pyramid, the biggest part that you need the most of, is Apple Jacks, and right below that is Lipton's iced tea, and then right below that,
trademark.
Right below that is just salmon with nothing on it. Not like sushi, you gotta cook it, but nothing.
Oh, how are you cooking it?
I'm just throwing the air fryer for 40 minutes at 500 degrees.
40 minutes. Are you making like fish chips? Like, what's going on?
I like it to be crispy and crunchy, just like my Apple Jacks.
Do you put it in the Apple Jacks for extra protein?
I mean, if I sprinkle some Apple Jacks on top, that's a well-balanced dinner.
Wait, okay, hold on. So you're not sprinkling fish in the Apple Jacks, you're sprinkling Apple Jacks on. So it's an Apple Jack crusted salmon that you're making in the air.
I've got a new cookbook coming out. It's called How to Use All These Apple Jacks by SmackDown Hacker. How do I use all these Apple Jacks?
I mean, it sounds like a good book.
Chapter 1.
Wow, okay.
Crispy salmon with Apple Jack. Chapter 2. Apple Jacks with Lipton iced tea trademark. Chapter 3.
So wait. Each chapter of your cookbook is.
Are you okay,
coughing? I'm getting a little bit overcold. So each chapter of your cookbook is one recipe?
400 chapters.
Okay.
It's
oh my God.
Long.
So you're not even going into like little stories about because if you look at a lot of celebrity cookbooks, and I would argue after your appearances on Wrestle Buddies, you are something of a low celebrity. A lot of them put in like little stories about how they connect to the recipes and all that. Like, do you have any of that?
No. Like, if you look up a recipe on Google, you'll find like at least like 500 words about how it's their grandmother's cooking and how it brings them home and it's nostalgic. None of that. Chapter 1, you go right in, and it's crispy salmon with Apple Jacks, and I tell you how to make it. No funny business. You want that recipe. Bam, you got it. Then you go to chapter 2, and you say Apple Jacks with Lipton iced tea as cereal, trademark. And then you go right, bam, done. Chapter 3, Apple Jacks in a cup, just dry.
Okay, what's chapter 4?
Chapter 4. Cold Apple Jacks left in the freezer with Lipton iced tea trademark.
Oh, cool. What's chapter 5? How far can I take this?
Apple Jack ice cream, but made at home.
Bro, that sounds really good. Have you thought about just working with Apple Jacks to work out a deal where you can just market and sell?
I really should, but Apple Jacks is not getting back to me. I've been trying to put my foot in the door, and
I
went to Davies Center, and I said, "Where's Mr. Applejacks?"
Wait, the same place you went to run into WWE?
No, I didn't do that. The guy, I hacked your show, so the guy who's a lawyer that owns a dog named Clarence could come in.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot that. Yeah. Did you see him?
No, we went on different days, probably. Or might have been a different door.
It would have been crazy if you would have seen him. Like, what a Chicago story.
Chicago story in the middle of Jacksonville, Florida. Or wherever Davies Center is.
Oh, wait. Where did you say you were?
Davis Center?
Do you mean the Daily Center?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about a venue in Chicago.
I'm not from Chicago.
I also assumed Dog Dad Lawyer was talking about a venue in Chicago. It's weird. Maybe he was, and you're talking about the Daily
Center, but not Daily Plaza, which is in Chicago.
Okay, he might have been talking about Daily Plaza. He might have been looking for WWE at Daily Plaza. Wait, who are you looking for? You're looking for Apple Jacks at the Daily Center.
Mrs. Kellogg. I don't know who runs the company.
Right, but like, why would they be there?
I don't know. It's like
because you eat cereal daily?
You could go in there and just, sit in the stands and eat some Apple Jacks. I break into this plaza for an Apple Jack.
No, it's not a plaza.
I break into the stadium for an Apple Jack.
it's also not a stadium. It's like it's kind of an amphitheater.
I break into this center. I break into the Hollywood Bowl to get a big old bowl of Apple Jacks. Trademark.
Please don't break in. Big Kid does not condone anyone breaking into the Hollywood Bowl.
I break into the Hollywood Bowl to hang out with Zooey Deschanel and sing some songs and get chased away by security.
Why is Zooey Deschanel?
I watched Yes Man last night, which is the sequel to Liar Liar, starring Jim Carrey.
Wait, is it really?
I mean, like, it's the same movie, so it might as well be a sequel.
Oh, okay. I'm into that. I ain't against that. All right. Well, anything else you wanna let us know before we take back our stream back?
Kesha, I'm still available for security work. I think your music is beautiful. I think your voice is beautiful. I love the song, or is it the song or the album Rainbow? I think it's the album. It's called Rainbow. You are an inspiration, and if I could be the person that guards you, please let me know.
Wow.
Just find me. I'm on the internet everywhere.
Just find him. He's on the internet everywhere.
But not in a creepy way. I mean, it's a very respectful way.
It's kind of creepy. I mean...
Oh, I'm digging a hole on this one. I gotta go. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cut my... I mean, that was a big thing of our show was he would always cut my mic off.
Yeah, he hacks into you specifically, which makes me think your internet security sucks.
It's not good.
But that's okay. It was good to catch up with him. Still trying to be an Applejack spokesperson by holding a vigil outside of an amphitheater next door to a football stadium.
But like, why would you commit crimes to get Applejacks? It's so derivative of the Klondike bar marketing ads from the 80s and 90s.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? Well, it's also very derivative of Cookie Crisp, whose mascot was an actual criminal.
Here's how you do it at SmackDown Hacker. Oh boy. You know, when I wake up in the morning, there's nothing I like more than the cinnamon and apple flavor of Applejacks. Put some milk on it. It's not even that good. That wasn't very good. Weird. That was still better.
Weird.
Yeah.
Matt, this is really weird. I just got an email from Kellogg asking if Applejacks can sponsor Big Kid.
Can I have some money? I don't have a job currently.
Oh no, Matt, I'm sorry. They want to sponsor my podcast. I'm sorry, bud.
Oh well, another day, another dollar. I don't make.
At least.
Oh, shit's getting bleak.
All right. Well, this has been a good time, and obviously it won't be the last time. By the way, I think I'm just going to throw this out as the first episode next week. So welcome to the season 2 premiere of Big Kid. Like and subscribe on iTunes and Spotify and all the other things. Watch this on YouTube, youtube.com/BigKidPod, I believe is the location. Let me go ahead and type that in to make sure I'm not giving you a false URL.
False URL.
And that does not work. Hang on. Big Kid Chris Hayner. Oh. Or you can just go here. Or you can just go ahead and check out the video of the podcast. Watch Matt and I and all of our assorted weirdo friends live. Not live, it's taped. Over at youtube.com/@BigKidPod. And while you're there, you know what you should do. And Matt, you should probably do this too. While you're there, go ahead and check out me doing a Saw haunt, like a haunted Saw escape room. Matt, I've had people ask me how much of what I'm doing in that video is a performance.
Yeah.
Literally none of it. I was terrified in all of the good ways.
Yeah, you looked it.
It's so much fun. God, I love escape rooms. I'm actually going back to Vegas this week, and I will be. And among the things I'm planning to do, obviously, Omega Mart, and also I might go back and actually do the Saw and Blair Witch escape rooms.
We talked about the Saw one, and you said it's like numerous rooms.
It's 13 rooms, I think the guy said. Anyone who's done an escape room before, it's like 3 rooms of madness. The ones in Vegas, cost less than the regular ones. And because like if I go to an escape room here, like for me and Nikki, it's like $75. How much it is about here. Yeah, they're like $40 on Vegas.com, these things. And like they're so good. They've recreated sets. The Saw escape room. I didn't get to do the full escape room experience in Saw. I did a walkthrough one night only immersive experience themed to Saw 10. But they've recreated the bathroom from the first one, Gideon's meatpacking facility. Like they've recreated so much and so many iconic traps from the movies that like it's messed up, and they fill it with people that chase you around.
Terrifying.
That's pretty cool. It is quite terrifying. I kind of want to see if I can do the escape room alone to see, and I will fail. I've been told that it's roughly a 10% success rate.
Great.
But if you fail, you still get to see all the rooms, because how crappy would it be if you failed in like the third room and then didn't get to see like
it's
the Saw
real
bathroom.
Squid Game situation minus the death, where like if you don't get past that first round, you're not going to be able to go do tug of war or play the Squid Game.
Except with this, I think you are allowed to, which is pretty cool. And then I haven't done the Blair Witch one, but like it's based on the Blair Witch Project, and
so it ends with you standing in a basement facing the corner.
I sure hope so. I hope there's a photo op at the end where I just face a corner. I'm assuming I'm assuming you walk into the final room and there's people standing in corners.
I mean, yeah.
And then I cry and pee a little. But just a little. Matt, tell the people where they can find you all over the internet.
I've got a Substack where I write about here, let me just pull up some of these topics that you can read more about. Crafting Dungeons and Dragons terrain. I write about LaCroix a lot because LaCroix, because I had to give up drinking. I found bunnies in my backyard and I wrote about that. And then I've got my podcast. I just want to talk to friends, where friends and we just talk about stories about things we did or what they do or whatever. Chris and I talk about how Wrestle Buddies came together in episode 2, 3.
Yeah. And I'll be back.
I've got more the thoughts. Show features David Rodriguez, a comic book writer and the one of the creative narrative people on Diablo 4. Chris Hayner, Tony Wilson. Next week is Sealed Caskets, Mortal Death, also known as Josh Shank. Week after that is AEW Serpentico. I got more people coming up. You can find all that on my Substack, which is I'm Mat Elfring. That's IMMATELFRING.substack.com.
And just check out the description of this episode and hit the link, and that'll take you directly to Matt's Substack. And I'll also probably link his Instagram. I will not link Twitter because Matt don't do Twitter.
Twitter. I nuked my account. Like it's open.
Yeah, mine's still there and it's still open. It's not private right now or anything, but like I barely touch it. I'm not as interested.
Check out Meow Wolf. I don't work there currently, but I did work there for 6 months and I love the company, and I think they do some really cool immersive art experiences. And
I will be doing one of them. I'm excited, dude. I am so excited to do Omega Mart. It's something I've been wanting to do for a couple of years now, and I have no idea what to expect because I refuse to look up spoilers.
Don't.
Yeah, no. I just want to go into it.
You walk into these immersive art exhibits. You aren't given instructions. You just explore on your own. There's a story you can kind of piece together, and it takes a few hours. And it's just really, I've been writing about Meow Wolf for 6 months, and I really want to go to one. I was supposed to, and I couldn't. But yeah, it's very cool stuff.
Nice. All right. I think that's it, Matt. Oh, you can find me. I'm online at Chris Hayner on all the things: Instagram, TikTok, I guess Twitter, wherever. You can email me, you can message me, you can do whatever you want. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm at Chris Hayner on LinkedIn, for crying out loud. The joy of having a name that nobody else has is it's really easy to secure.
I had to do my Mat Elfring because there's another Mat Elfring out there.
Which is wild because you spell your name so bizarrely with one T. 1T Matt. I've known a 3T Matt. Now I know a 1T Matt. I know two 1T Matts because Paget.
Yeah, that's right. Paget too.
We worked at a website at a time when there were 3 Matts, 2 of which had only 1 T in their name.
One of my closest friends is also named Matt with 1 T.
Yeah. Of course. Matt Druffke?
He's got 2 T's. This is Matt Warrenfeld's a musician I played with for years.
Okay. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Matt, for being here. You know you are one of my favorite human beings on this earth and are welcome here literally anytime. And we've got a lot of it. You know what?
Yeah.
Before we go, I'm just going to throw out a few of the topics that are in the works for this season.
I know one of them.
Oh. You know one of them because Matt's coming back. Matt's coming back for Spooky Movies with Matt and Nikki. The goal is to have at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 spooky season episodes in the month of October. It's just a matter of what I have time to get recorded. But yeah, we will be recording. I think Matt, I'm aiming for us to record next Wednesday because I'm off all day that day.
That works for me.
And Nikki is also off that day, so we can work within your schedule. But yeah, so that'll be Spooky Movies with Matt and Nikki. And Nikki will be on more than 1 episode this season because I'm also talking to Nikki about doing an escape room episode because that is escape rooms kind of became our date night thing our first couple of years of living together. Like we love doing them and they're just the best. Hold on. I have a list. I have a list of things I'm in the works on putting together. If I got a big kid guess. Let's see. Eric Fredrickson, who you may know from your time at GameSpot. He is one of our freelancers, and he is also, like myself, knows way too much about the Arrowverse. We're going to do an Arrowverse episode, just talking about Arrow and the Flash and whatnot. I'm trying to get Natalie Abrams to come. Natalie Abrams is going to come back for at least 1, maybe 2. I want to talk to her about Super Nintendo World because we both went opening day together. And that was a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll see what else. We'll see what else comes through. Oh, and I'm making this promise to the world. Before the end of season 2, there will be episodes dedicated to both Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo. Matt, I won't ask you to be on
I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I don't like her music at all. That's okay. Olivia Rodrigo, I've only heard Vampire. It's not my cup of tea. And that's fine.
Bro, you I'm just gonna send you a link to a different song of Olivia Rodrigo's, a performance from SNL. Her voice is weirdly soulful and like when she's doing live stuff.
Chance.
Like I feel like she's mad at me.
I'll give it a chance. My taste in music is so, I feel like almost set in stone at this point. Like I can't get into new music aside from that Harry Styles song, "As You Are, As You Were." That's a dynamite song.
Dude, I am a big fan of sort of the pop movement, but that is something I'll be getting into in that episode. That'll be down the road. For now, we're wrapping up. Matt, thank you so much, and we'll see you again in probably a couple of weeks.
Applause for me. Hey! I was planning on using that a lot more, and I forgot about it. But thanks for having me on today.
I also forgot about it until you push the button right now. We'll see you next week, everybody.